Hi, Grand Rising. My name is Ashantè Fray, and my pronouns are she, her, and hers. Today, I'm calling in from Niagara Falls instead of where I'm usually residing, which is in Toronto. I mention my location because I wish to acknowledge that the sacred land that we have the privilege of operating on is situated on the traditional territories of the Indigenous nations and people. I choose to acknowledge this land as I am not only as an identity, as an employee of Indeed, but also as a descendant and forcibly displaced ancestry. These identities make my relations with this land a little complicated, but I strive to continue to respect it. In doing so, I recognize my privilege and my oppression. I'm grateful for the opportunity to live and work on this land. And I also want to mention that this talk will have mentions of sexual abuse. You may hear the construction in the background. That just seems to be a theme throughout my city dwelling. So I do appreciate you choosing to spend your next 10 minutes with me. So let's start there. My visible identities as you see me is that I am Black and I am a woman. From looking at me, you would have absolutely no idea that I am cisgendered, that I'm bisexual, 25 years old, second generation Canadian. My background is Jamaican. I grew up Christian, but I identify as spiritual now. I own my own business called Synchronized Soul, where I conduct tarot readings, oracle readings, and one-on-one coaching. I have a bachelor's art in English and French literature. I have a master's degree in English literature. Most recently, I've been promoted to diversity, inclusion, and belonging education specialist. I'm also the regional co-chair for iPride. I'm a survivor of sexual abuse, and I'm living with PTSD. I don't say all of these things just to brag. I say all of these things because they are part of my identity and they shape the way that I experience the world. They all intersect to create different opportunities and barriers, discrimination, oppression, and privilege. We tend to categorize and stereotype because it's easier, right? Easier to process to other. But people are not binary. Humans are complex and complicated. All intersectional identities, all identities are intersectional. We are multifaceted by nature, and no person is one-dimensional. Instead of othering, it means that we must learn to recognize a piece of ourselves in other people, right? Instead of simply reflecting on other people as differences, reflecting back to see how we can help grow or heal those aspects in ourselves. If you strongly react to somebody positively or negatively, that is an indication that there is some healing for you to do. All people in your life are foil characters. Considering my literature degree, I like to bring up Dr. Holmes and Sherlock, right? If anyone has that combination, the ability to contrast or contradict is so that you can figure out, what am I feeling? What is this feeling telling me, and what is it that I need to heal? We have to accept that no person can truly understand your soul. And that means that your emotions, your experiences, your motivations are yours and yours alone. Everyone is made up of different experiences that shape up their own lives. For that reason, I choose to live my life with compassion and empathy. I mentioned my identities earlier as hopes of inspiring connection. You may not know me, but I hope that you might remember what it felt like to be unheard, to be gaslighted, underestimated, to be made to feel small, or to feel like you have to dim your light in certain spaces. And let that feeling be the way that you discover your way forward. Now, y'all may be asking, so what are some actionable steps? What can I actually do as a way forward as an intersectional ally? Well, it's acknowledging that oppression takes place in relation to other people and in relation to other identities, my apologies. And if you acknowledge that, you start to see the web of connections between yourself and other people. I believe that acknowledging your own identities and how they have privilege and oppression in various spaces is how we begin the way forward. I acknowledge my privilege in corporate spaces, that being a Black bisexual female in technical spaces is quite rare. So I used my privilege in these spaces to help educate, to help uplift, with the hopes that we will continue to do better than the generation that came before. The second thing that I acknowledge as a way forward is realizing the importance and the impact of microaggressions. Your intentions matter, and they do matter, but your impact is far more important than what your intentions were. And I hope if you walk away with nothing, you walk away with that. I've heard so many microaggressions throughout my life that I am an Oreo, whitewashed. One of my particular favorites in technological spaces is that I am very articulate, not recognizing my educational background and why I am as articulate as I am. There are times where I feel like I am not Black enough because I grew up liking literature, liking Sherlock Holmes. And it didn't even really occur to me that I could be bisexual because I wasn't white and there was no LGBTQIA+ representation within the Black community, much less if we take it a step further and talk about Black female bodies or Black transsexual bodies. For this reason, I believe that it's very important to recognize the power of your words and how much weight your words and the connotation of those words actually have. My last thing as a way forward is recognizing where you are in your allyship journey. And allyship is a journey. There are, in my personal opinion, 3 different stages of allyship. You can be an ally, declare that you're a part of this cause. That may be a sticker, that may be a t-shirt to some, but recognizing that in certain spaces, wearing a t-shirt might cost somebody their lives. That doesn't mean that they are any less an ally. It means that they are in a different stage, in a different space for them to show their allyship. You can be an accomplice, a person who actively helps for this cause, which is a beautiful thing to do if you have the ability to do so, if you have the privilege to be able to be an accomplice. And what I'm asking for are advocates, people who represent this cause as if it was their own interest, empathy as a way forward, feelings as a way forward. Where you are in your allyship journey is up to you. But I hope that you will continue to listen and to support. Being an intersectional ally is committing to a journey of allyship. It's recognizing that it will change with time and that it is your obligation, your responsibility to hold space, to listen, so that you can learn and self-reflect and change. The most important parts being, of course, self-reflect and change. Every day, even when you're tired, every day, even when you think you can't, every day when you feel like there is no reason, no way forward, you show up, because that is what I've been doing in the middle of a pandemic, in the middle of an economic crisis, is showing up. That is what we're all doing here today, is declaring that we are a part of this movement. But how you show up is up to you, and that is nobody's responsibility to tell you. I hope that this talk serves as a reminder that we can find a way forward through wholeness and through unity and through equity. I thank you for your time. And if you wish to get in contact with me, I am available, of course, via LinkedIn. And my personal contact email is ashante@indeed.com. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashante.